Thor awakens in Asgard to find Mjolnir missing. He jumps out of his bed and searches frantically for his hammer, but it is nowhere to be found. He suspects foul play and wonders who could have dared to steal his prized weapon. He roars in fury and vows to find the thief and make him pay dearly. Thor accuses Loki of the theft. He storms into Loki's chamber and grabs him by the collar, lifting him off the ground. He demands to know where Mjolnir is and threatens to break every bone in Loki's body if he does not tell the truth. Loki denies any involvement and pleads for mercy, claiming that he has no idea who took the hammer. Loki denies involvement but agrees to help. He swears by Odin's beard that he has nothing to do with the theft and that he is as outraged as Thor. He offers to use his cunning and magic to find the culprit and recover Mjolnir. Thor is still suspicious of Loki, but he decides to give him a chance to prove his loyalty. Loki borrows Freyja's feathered cloak. He visits the goddess of love and beauty and asks her for a favor. He tells her that he needs to use her feathered cloak, which can transform the wearer into a bird. He says that he has a plan to find Mjolnir and bring it back to Thor. Freyja agrees to lend him the cloak, hoping that he will succeed in his mission. He puts on the feathered cloak and feels a surge of power. He spreads his wings and takes off into the sky, leaving Asgard behind. He flies over mountains and seas, looking for the land of the giants. He hopes to find the thief who stole Mjolnir and trick him into giving it back. He arrives at the realm of the frost giants and spots Thrym, the king of the Jotuns, sitting on a mound of treasure. He sees Mjolnir among the jewels and realizes that Thrym is the thief. He flies closer and lands on a nearby branch, pretending to be an ordinary bird. He listens to Thrym's boastful words, hoping to find a way to get the hammer back. Thrym sees Loki in bird form and thinks that he is a messenger from the gods. Thrym tells Loki that he has hidden Mjolnir 8 miles under the earth and that he will only return it if he gets Freyja as his bride. Thrym laughs wickedly, thinking that he has outsmarted the gods and secured the most beautiful goddess for himself. Thrym shows Loki the small figure of Freyja that he has carved out of wood, and says that he will only give back Mjolnir if he gets the real Freyja as his wife. Thrym says that he has always admired her beauty and grace, and that he will make her happy in his kingdom. He asks Loki to deliver his proposal to the gods, and to hurry back with their answer. Loki returns to Asgard with the news. He takes off the feathered cloak and resumes his god form. He finds Thor and the other gods in the Great Hall, waiting anxiously for his report. He tells them that he has found Mjolnir, but also reveals Thrym's outrageous demand. He says that the only way to get the hammer back is to send Freyja to Jotunheim as Thrym's bride. Freyja refuses to marry Thrym. She hears Loki's words and feels a surge of anger and disgust. She rejects the proposal with scorn and fury, saying that she will never marry a hideous and greedy giant. She says that she would rather die than leave Asgard and live in Jotunheim. She storms out of the hall, leaving the gods in dismay. The gods convene a council. They realize that they have a serious problem and that they need to find a solution quickly. They gather around a large table in the Hall of Odin, the king of the gods. They debate and argue, trying to come up with a way to get Mjolnir back without losing Freyja. They know that they cannot afford to lose either the hammer or the goddess. Heimdall suggests Thor disguise himself as Freyja. He is the god of foresight and the guardian of the Rainbow Bridge. He has a brilliant idea and shares it with the other gods. He says that Thor should dress up as Freyja and go to Jotunheim as Thrym's bride. He says that this way, Thor can get close to Mjolnir and reclaim it. The gods look intrigued by this plan, but also doubtful. Thor reluctantly agrees to the plan. He sees no other way to get his hammer back, and he trusts Heimdall's wisdom. He nods in agreement, but he feels uneasy and embarrassed. He wonders how he will look in Freyja's clothes and jewelry, and how he will act like a bride. He hopes that Thrym will not notice the deception, and that he will be able to grab Mjolnir and escape. Thor dons the wedding dress and jewelry. He lets the other gods dress him in Freyja's finest clothes and adornments, which barely fit him. He wears a long white gown, a golden necklace, a veil, and a crown of flowers. He looks ridiculous and uncomfortable, but he tries to act calm and dignified. Loki smirks and teases him, saying that he makes a lovely bride. Thor and Loki travel to Jotunheim. They board the chariot of Freyja, which is drawn by two fierce cats. They thunder across the sky, making loud noises to cover their tracks. Thor sits in the chariot, holding the veil over his face, while Loki sits beside him, acting as his maid. They hope to reach Jotunheim before Thrym suspects anything. Thrym welcomes Freyja with a feast. He sees the chariot of Freyja arriving at his hall, and he runs out to greet his bride. He is overjoyed by her beauty and grace, and he does not notice her disguise. He leads her into the hall, where a lavish feast is prepared for the wedding. He seats her on a throne beside him, and showers her with compliments and gifts. Thrym is eager to seal his marriage with a kiss, and he reaches for the veil that covers his bride's face. He pulls it back, expecting to see Freyja's lovely features, but he is met with a terrifying sight. He sees Thor's fiery eyes, glaring at him with anger and hatred. He recoils in fear and horror, realizing that he has been tricked. Loki sees Thrym's shock and fear, and he acts fast to save the situation. He tells Thrym that Freyja has not slept for 8 nights because of her excitement and anxiety to marry him. He says that her eyes are red from weeping and longing, and that she is eager to embrace him. He convinces Thrym to proceed with the wedding ceremony and to bring Mjolnir as a gift. Mjolnir is brought out to bless the bride. The giants bring the hammer on a cushion and place it on Freyja's lap as a sign of respect and honor. Thor's eyes light up as he sees his beloved weapon, and he feels a surge of joy and relief. He pretends to be shy and grateful, but he secretly waits for the right moment to strike. Thor grabs Mjolnir and reveals his identity. He feels the hammer's power coursing through his veins, and he throws off his disguise. He tears off the veil, the gown, and the jewelry, and stands tall and proud in his true form. He holds Mjolnir high and shouts,
"I am Thor, the god of thunder, and you have been fooled."
He laughs and swings the hammer, ready to unleash his wrath on the giants. Thor charges at the giant king, who is stunned and terrified by Thor's revelation. He swings Mjolnir with all his might and strikes Thrym on the head, crushing his skull. He does not stop there, but continues to smash and slay every giant in his path. He leaves a trail of blood and destruction behind him as he avenges the theft of his hammer. The giants are defeated. Thor stands amidst the corpses of his enemies, victorious and satisfied. He has avenged the insult and the injury that they have done to him and his hammer. He looks around and sees no more foes to fight. He smiles and raises Mjolnir in the air as a sign of his glory and power. Asgard is secured once more. Thor returns to his home, where the gods welcome him with joy and gratitude. They praise him for his bravery and cunning, and they marvel at his hammer. They throw a feast in his honor, where they drink and sing and tell stories. They celebrate Thor's victory and Asgard's safety. The gods reflect on how they recovered Thor's hammer from Thrym, who wanted Freya as his wife. They recall Thor's plan to dress up as Freya and Loki as his maid, and how they fooled Thrym into giving them the hammer. They celebrate in Asgard, sharing stories and laughter, and honoring Thor and Loki. Loki is praised for his help in retrieving Thor's hammer from the giant Thrym. He had used his shapeshifting and deception skills to fool Thrym. The other gods recognize his cleverness and bravery and give him a pat on the back and a warm smile. Thor thanks the gods for their support in getting his hammer back from the giant Thrym. He had felt helpless and angry when he discovered his hammer was missing, but he had found courage and strength in his friends. He expresses his gratitude to his fellow gods and hugs them warmly. The tale of how Thor and Loki retrieved the hammer from Thrym becomes a legend in Asgard, inspiring awe and admiration among the gods and heroes. The story is retold by a skald, a poet and storyteller, who uses his words and voice to bring the adventure to life. The story of Thor and Loki's adventure spreads across the 9 realms, reaching the ears of many different creatures. Elves, dwarves, giants, humans, and even dragons listen to the tale with wonder and amusement. They marvel at the gods' cunning and courage, and laugh at their antics and mishaps. The legacy of Thor's bravery and cunning endures throughout the ages, inspiring generations of heroes and adventurers. His deeds are immortalized in an aged mural, depicting the story of how he and Loki reclaimed his hammer from the giant Thrym. Thanks for checking out this video. If you had fun watching it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button. You're awesome!